information. Thank you, Reagan, for that live report. We're following up on a story that we brought to you last night, a well-known platform for school districts across the country to keep track of student records and communications with families was hit by a cyber attack.
Now, one school district here in Western Mass is responding. Western Mass News reporter Matt Price joins us live in studio with more details. Matt?
Yeah, Abby and Chris, that platform is PowerSchool, and it is used by several school districts in our area, including Westfield and Agawam Public Schools. Here's what we know. PowerSchool announced Wednesday this recent cyber attack incident had involved unauthorized access to information related to teachers and students. In fact, some of the exposed information include names and addresses. However, there are alarm bells being rung as some districts across the country may have included some social security numbers as well as medical information. Now, as we just mentioned, Westfield Public Schools is one of several districts in our area that rely on this platform every day. Western Mass News spoke with Christine Shea, who is the district's Director of Assessment and Accountability. She says information in the PowerSchool system can go back to 10 to 15 years. And while PowerSchool notified Westfield that they were not impacted, Shea says WPS wanted to play it safe.
Our IT center and our data department have also gone into PowerSchool and done their own checks just to make sure, because we have a really good, security system, and have not found any breaches themselves.
Definitely good news for those in that community. Now, we can confirm Springfield Public Schools was affected by this cyber attack. I'll have more details on Western Mass News at 5. For now, reporting live in the studio, Matt Price, Western Mass News.